Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome everyone to our part 2 on this topic of anger management. We'll do a quick revision whatever we discussed last time. First, we were discussing how anger is basically a survival mechanism. There is nothing wrong about it. All of us have this need to survive in this world. And that's why it's a survival mechanism. It's how we express to the world that our opinion is also important, our existence is important, our feelings are important. And then we discussed 3 ways to deal with personal anger. One was aggression. If somebody is hurting me, I will also hurt that person. And we saw the story of the saint and the washerman. When the Lord came to save the saint, he could not differentiate and he saw that everything was one. So that's not what we are going to do. Then we saw suppression. And then we saw how there are so many physiological changes that happen in the body just by suppressing our feelings. So even that is not a good option. And then the third thing that we saw is self-control. And we saw the story of Madhu and his guru. How this person first tried suppression, first he tried aggression, and when everything else failed, he went for self-control. And that is how he actually could deal with his anger in a constructive way. And then for this self-control method, we saw some tips. First tip was anger is usually triggered off by some stimulus. Maybe it is somebody's manners, maybe it is somebody, the style of speaking, etc., etc. It can be different things. So first thing in dealing with anger is we have to identify the triggers. Second thing is when you want to express it to somebody that this is how I have become angry because of your actions and because of your talks, we have to never confront that person. We have to express assertively. Assertively means in a very cool voice, we tell him, the way you do this, the way you speak, the way you snore, whatever, it is really difficult for me to maintain my calmness. Third tip for self-control is always use I language. Never ever accuse the other person or pass a judgment on the other person. And after doing all these 3, sometimes people may not accept their mistakes, people may not change. That is how people are. We cannot change people, but we can change ourselves. So the fourth important tip for ourselves was to practice some kind of meditation so that our mind is always cool and calm when we go through different situations in life. So this is a very beautiful subhashit that is mentioned for any learner, any student. And in today's times, we are all learners. We are all learning what is life. There is some education that happens in school. There is some education that happens in college. And after passing out of college, there is 40 years of education, which is what we call how to deal with life, how to deal with people, how to deal with friends, how to deal with enemies. And for that, this Subhashit will always be helpful to us. Kama krodhu tatha lobham swadu shrungara kautuke ati nidrati sevecha vidyarthi ashtavarjayet. A student should always give up these 8 qualities: lust, anger, greed, attraction for tasty dishes, decoration of one's own body, unnecessary curiosity, laziness or oversleep, and over endeavoring for caring for the body. And here, the first 2 things that is coming is kama and krodha. So if any one of you who attended last time session, I quoted 2.62 and 2.63 from the Gita, where it was mentioned if you try to satisfy kama, unnecessary desires, many times you are experiencing that it was over promise and under delivery, and that's why you get frustrated and you get anger. And many times when your karma is not satisfied, then also there is krodha. So both ways, the end result of karma is always krodha as per Lord Krishna. And that's why for a student, the first two important things that are mentioned in the Subhashit is kama and krodha. How important it is for us to control our anger. So we will try to understand that when Lord Krishna is expecting something from his devotees in the Gita, how does he describe his devotees? Let's see. So this is 12th chapter, shloka number 13 to shloka number 20. 8 shlokas Krishna describes about the qualities of a devotee. And on the screen, we just have 2 shlokas. If you have a Bhagavad Gita yourself, you can go through 12.13 to 12.20. And these last 8 shlokas of this chapter are just descriptions of a devotee. Let's go through these 2 shlokas. So the original shloka is Adveshta sarva bhutana maitraha karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara sama dukkha sukha kshami. One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So, description of a devotee by Krishna in all these shlokas is never by his occupation. Only Brahman can become my devotee, only Kshatriya can become my devotee. It is never by his spiritual status. Only a brahmachari can become my devotee. Only a grihastha can become my devotee. Only a sannyasi can become my devotee. In all the descriptions of a devotee that Lord Krishna, Lord Ramchandra, Lord Vishnu mentioned, the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, you'll never see all this. A devotee is never defined by his financial status. A devotee is never defined by his education status. A devotee is never defined by his bodily features. Is he fair? Is he dark? Is he short? Is he tall? Is he fat? Is he thin? What is his blood group? Is it always B positive? Never ever does Lord Krishna mention the description of a devotee by these. Then what is description? The description of a devotee by Lord Krishna throughout all the Vedas is always by his divine qualities. You know what it means? It means any one of us in whatever situation we are, if we develop the qualities that Lord Krishna has mentioned in the Gita, we become his devotee and we can become dear to him. It is not just for warriors like Arjun, and it is not just for females like the gopis of Vrindavan. It is not just for a Yaduvanshi like Uddhava, and it is not just for a Dwarkavasi like Lord Balram. It is not for a princess like Rukmini, and it is not just for a simple cowherd girl like Radha. It is a chance that is open to all of us. All of us can become devotees of Krishna, and that's why in the Bhagavad Gita, when we read the description of a devotee, it is something which is very hope-giving to us. So, in this description that we have found, there are so many words that we could look at. First is equal in happiness and distress. That means you have to be forgiving. You should not get angry at distress. You should be free from ego. It means you should be forgiving. So again, there is no anger. Tolerant means no anger. Always satisfied means no anger. Self-controlled means no anger. And mind and intelligence fixed on me also means no anger. That's why it's very important for us to understand that a devotee is described by divine qualities. Now, we are going to discuss today a little bit about Lakshman's anger. Why? Because last time we discussed about so many other concepts about anger, but it is always good to understand with the help of some example. When we discuss a case study, then we get real understanding. So we'll discuss a little bit about Lakshman's anger. So incident number 1 that we are going to discuss is when Lakshman's father Dashrath Maharaj seemed to be an enemy. So all of us know Manthara is very dear to Kaikeyi, and she comes and she poisons Kaikeyi's ears, and the poison from the heart of Manthara is transferred to Kaikeyi. After that, Kaikeyi goes, claims her two boons from Dashrath Maharaj, and Dashrath Maharaj falls for it. He cannot deny it. And then he orders Lord Ram, Sita Devi. Actually, he orders only Lord Ram, but Sita Devi and Lakshman, they also go. And when this news of Dashrath Maharaj allowing or instructing Lord Ramchandra to go away from Ayodhya comes to Lakshman, you know what are his words? He says, this lusty old man, how can he talk like this? Now, this is Lakshman talking about his own father. And this is mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana by Valmiki Rishi. So many times we feel that the scriptures are something imaginary, but Valmiki Rishi is giving to us the straight words of different characters. When Hanuman first time he sees Ravan, there is a glorification of Ravan by Hanumanji. Hanumanji says, he is such a well-built man, he's such a beautiful man, he's attractive, but just see how he's ruined by his bad character. And the example that Hanuman gives is, in a cremation ground, Smashan Bhumi च्या मधोमध एक खूप सुंदर जर हिरवगार वृक्ष असेल तर ते किती विचित्र दिसेल. तेच सुंदर वृक्ष जर एका बागेत असेल तर किती आवडेल, पण एका स्मशानभूमीमध्ये विचित्र दिसतं ते वृक्ष. So Hanumanji says, Ravan is like a beautiful tree, but by his bad character, no control over his senses, he has been ruined completely. And actually, how good it would have been if he was a person of good character. So in this way, Valmiki Rishi is telling us Lakshman's words about his own father is, this lusty old man, how can he behave like this? He is totally controlled by his young wife, and he is ordering you to go to the forest. Let me go and talk to him. Let me deal with him. And then Ram tells him, you cannot talk about our own father in these words. This is not the right way. But basically, Lakshman is angry. Incident number 2, when Bharat comes to Chitrakoot to request Lord Ram to come back. What is the original mood and what is the original purpose of Bharat Maharaj? Bharat Maharaj is coming there just with one purpose, to request Lord Ramchandra, please come back and rule over your kingdom. I can assure you, I was not part of the conspiracy. It was all done in my ignorance and it was all done in my absence, and I am not a part of the conspiracy. But what is Lakshman's words about Bharat? Lakshman, in the distance, he looks at an army. There is a lot of dust being raised by that army, and he sees a palm tree as a flag, and he recognizes that. You know what is his first word? His first word is, Ram, just see this Bharat. He's such a greedy person. He's never unsatisfied. And he, with his mother's help, has driven you out of the kingdom, but he is not satisfied. He knows only we three of us are in the forest, Ram, Sita, and me, Lakshman. But just see, what is the need for bringing such a huge army? Just look at this whole army. And Bharat Maharaj had brought all the ministers and all his mothers and almost all the citizens there, because he wanted to prove his innocence to Lord Ram in the presence of everyone, so that they will understand he was not part of the conspiracy. But how did Lakshman interpret it? Lakshman interpreted it as, Bharat is not satisfied by driving Ram out of the kingdom, and now he's coming with his army to kill Ram. And Lakshman says, I am not going to let him alive. I am going to kill this whole army, and let me do the needful. And Lord Ramchandra says, Lakshman, please don't get angry. Wait for Bharat Maharaj to come here. We will see what is happening. If he has any such feelings, I can assure you, Bharat is not like that. Bharat will never ever have such ill feelings against me in his heart. Wait for some time. And then we know what happens. Bharat Maharaj comes and falls. The first thing he does is, he falls at the feet of Ram, even before speaking anything. And Lakshman is completely shocked. Incident number 3, when Ram and Lakshman have gone to Mithila to win Sita Devi's hand in her Swayamvar, then the condition is that there is a Shiv Dhanush that is kept there, and this Shiv Dhanush has to be tied. And Lord Ramchandra, when he takes a Shiv Dhanush, instead of tying the thread to that Shiv Dhanush, he breaks the Shiv Dhanush. And when this sound reaches Parshuramji comes there, and Parshuram says, how can you do this? And he's very angry at Lord Ramchandra. And before Lord Ramchandra can answer, Parshuramji gets a reply from Lakshman. Lakshman comes in between Parshuram and Lord Ram and he says, whoever you are, you may be the biggest person, the most powerful person. I don't doubt your power, but please don't talk in a rough way with my brother Ram. Please mind your tongue. So we saw three incidents in which Lakshman is acting in a very impulsive way and Lakshman is acting in a very angry way. And in all three incidents, he's using very harsh words to respectable personalities. Dashrath Maharaj is his father. Bharat is his brother. Parshuramji is a great saintly person. And with all three people, Lakshman is showing a lot of anger. So the question comes, we already saw from the Gita that a devotee has all the good qualities. Devotee is not defined by his so many points that we discussed. So how can a devotee so dear to Lord Ram behave in this angry manner? Or how can Lakshman, who is always angry at different people, how can he be so dear to Lord Ramchandra? So let's see if we can learn from this. In all these three incidents that I mentioned, you can see that Lakshman's anger is never for himself. Dashrath Maharaj did not do anything to Lakshman, and Lakshman's anger was not the way Dashrath Maharaj treated Lakshman. It was always never for himself. It was always in service to Lord Ram, whom he considers his master. So, for instance, when Ram and Lakshman are traveling through the forest and they reach South India in Kishkinda Kshetra, and this is the first time when Sugriva, from a mountain top, he sees these two warriors. They look like warriors. Their whole body structure is like Kshatriya. They're very powerful. They have a Dhanush Ban with them, but they have the dress of a sannyasi or a sadhu. And Sugriv is completely confused when he looks at this. And then Sugriv says, it seems that my brother Vali wants to hurt me, and that's why he has sent these two people. So I am going to be very careful with these two people. And out of fear of these two warriors, he sends Lakshman, he sends Hanuman in a different disguise. You go and check out. ये दोनों कौन है? मुझे मारने के लिए आए कि किसके लिए आए? And Hanumanji changes his appearance to a Brahman. And Hanumanji goes in front of Lord Ram and Lakshman and he says, my dear two gentlemen, you are looking like Kshatriyas and kings, but you are dressed in the clothes of a sannyasi. And sannyasis usually will never carry weapons with them, but you also have weapons also. So it's very difficult for me to understand who are you. Please, can you tell me who you both are? Now Ram is thinking, first question is who you are. Because in the dense jungle, what is a Brahman doing? Some sadhus may be doing some tapasya, but this does not look like a sannyasi sadhu. This looks like a Brahman. And so far away from any city, what is this Brahman doing? So Lord Ramchandra understands there is something strange going on. So Lord Ramchandra does not give a reply to Hanumanji. Lord Ramchandra looks at Lakshman and he tells him, you give this reply. And what is Lakshman's reply? Lakshman's reply to Hanuman's question about their identities is, Lakshman says, he is the prince of Koshal Pradesh. He is in the Ikshvaku dynasty. He is my master, but it is his greatness that he considers me as his younger brother. ये जो व्यक्ती है, हे माझे स्वामी आहेत, हे व्यक्ती, यांचा मोठेपणा आहे की ते मला त्यांचा स्वतःचा लहान भाऊ समजतात. हे उत्तर लक्ष्मण हनुमानजींना देतात पहिल्यांदा जेव्हा त्यांना भेटतात तेव्हा. So it's very important for us to understand Lakshman's anger is never for himself. Lakshman becomes angry only when his master Lord Ramchandra is troubled. And that's why we can reconcile how can a super angry person like Lakshman be such a great devotee of Lord Ramchandra. Why? Because his anger is never for himself. So in all the descriptions that we read from the Gita, always the hint that is given to us is स्वतःसाठी क्रोधी नाही व्हायचं. स्वतःच्या अहंकाराला जेव्हा कोणी त्रास देतं तेव्हा आपल्याला क्रोधी नाही व्हायचंय. पण जर सेवेमध्ये श्रीकृष्णांच्या सेवेमध्ये प्रभू रामचंद्रांच्या सेवेमध्ये जर क्रोध येत असेल तर तो योग्य क्रोध आहे. Shivaji Maharaj was very angry on some people who were trying to destroy the culture of this land. Some people from outside this country were trying to destroy temples. And that is why Shivaji Maharaj was very angry on them. And he made all efforts to prevent that from happening. But Shivaji Maharaj was not angry when somebody insulted him personally. तेवढी त्यांच्यामध्ये सहिष्णुता आहे, पण केवळ धर्माच्या रक्षणासाठी त्यांनी अत्यंत राग प्रदर्शित केलाय. So now we understand that's why Lakshman is the dearmost devotee. His anger is not for himself, his anger is always for Lord Ramchandra. Now we have a very special incident for you. Please listen very carefully. This is when the golden deer brings the greatest pain in Lakshman's life. So we all know how Marich was forced, he's a Rakshas and he's forced by Ravan that you please go and become a golden deer and separate Ram from Sita so that I can kidnap her for my purposes. And Marich, he's threatened by Ravan, so he says, okay, it's better to die at the hands of Lord Ram than to die at Ravan's hand. And so he does what is needed. And then Sita Devi gets attracted to the deer and Sita Devi tells Lord Ramchandra, please get the deer for me. Lord Ramchandra leaves, chasing the golden deer. But before he leaves, he does one thing. He knows this is Dandakaranya, this is a jungle. And he tells Lakshman, I am going. Sita is not able to understand that this golden deer is false. I need to go. But you please take care of Sita Devi. This is a dangerous jungle. There are Rakshasas here. There are wild animals here. And anything can happen. So you please take care. And Lakshman is there with Sita Devi. But then what happens? There, at the other side, Lord Ramchandra kills Marich. And when he dies, he gives out a false cry in the voice of Lord Ram. Hey Sita! Hey Lakshman! And this voice, when it is heard by Sita Devi feels that Lord Ram is in danger. And she looks at Lakshman. And Lakshman is totally undisturbed by this noise, by this sound. So Sita Devi tells Lakshman, why are you not going to save your brother? He seems to be in distress. And Lakshman says, I know my brother. Nobody can harm him. This is a false warning. This is a false voice. You don't need to be very much worried about all this. And Sita Devi is very disturbed because Sita Devi loves Lord Ram the highest. And when she hears that voice, she feels, what if something goes wrong with Lord Ram? So she says, no, I want you to go. Lakshman says, don't you worry about it. He's Lord Ram. He's the Supreme Lord. Kuch nahi hoga unko. And Sita Devi has to come up with something that will force Lakshman to go and take care of Lord Ram. So what does Sita Devi do? Sita Devi uses very, very harsh words. Sita Devi tells Lakshman, I know why you are not going. Basically, in your heart, there is some desire for me. And till the time Lord Ramchandra is alive, your desire will be unfulfilled. So, you're waiting for Lord Ramchandra to leave this world. Isn't it the fact? And these harsh words are like very deadly hot arrows that hit the ears of Lakshman. Lakshman has always looked at Mother Sita as his mother. Later, when Ram and Lakshman meet Sugriva and all the Vanaras, then Sugriva mentions how at one point of time, one Viman went from above in the sky and there was a lady who was shouting and she threw some jewels down. And he has that yellow cloth in which the jewels are there and he shows to Lord Ram. And Lord Ramchandra can recognize, Are, these are the necklace. This is the necklace of Sita Devi. And these are her earrings. And this is her payal. And he tells Lakshman, Lakshman, just see. This is all the jewelry of Sita Devi. And we are confirmed. We are on the right way. We are in the right direction. And Valmiki Rishi mentions, what does Lakshman reply? He says, Naham janami keyure, Naham janami kundale. He says, I cannot recognize Sita Devi's earrings and I cannot recognize Sita Devi's necklace. But he says, Nupuram evaham janami nityam padabhi vandanat. He says, Nupuram evah janami. त्यांच्या पायातले जे पैंजण आहेत ते मी ओळखू शकतो. का बरं? नित्यम पादाभिवंदनात त्या माझ्या आई आहेत आणि आईच्या चेहऱ्याकडे मी कधी बघितलं नाही, त्यांच्या चरणांच्या वर मी कधी बघितलं नाही, तर त्यांच्या कानातले आणि त्यांच्या गळ्यातले मी ओळखू शकत नाही, पण त्यांच्या पायातली पैंजण मी ओळखू शकतो. बरोबर आहे, हे सीतादेवींचेच पैंजण आहेत. So this is the relationship that Lakshman had with Sita Devi, but Sita Devi used such harsh words. But why did she use those harsh words? Was it coming from her heart? No. Actually, Sita Devi, by hook or by crook, by this way or that way, she wants Lord Ram to be not in any danger. And when Marich made that voice, hey Sita, hey Lakshman, Sita Devi was totally disturbed. Whatever is necessary to save Lord Ram, Sita Devi will do that. And that's why Sita Devi, even though she knows that Lakshman is basically like my son and he sees me like his mother, and Lakshman is running towards Lord Ramchandra, and Ramchandra is running towards towards the kutir. He understands something has gone wrong. And then both of them, they meet midway. And Lord Ramchandra is super angry at Lakshman and he says, I told you to stay back. I told you to save Mother Sita. What are you doing here? How can you be here? And Lakshman is totally speechless. He cannot tell Lord Ramchandra that Sita Devi spoke very harsh words to me, and that is why I am here. Lakshman just keeps quiet. So in a matter of few minutes, Lakshman has been doubted by somebody, two people who are his most worshipable masters. Just some time back, Sita Devi doubted Lakshman's character. Sita Devi said that you have some evil intentions, and Lakshman just kept quiet and he moved in the direction of Lord Ram. And Lord Ram said, I had told you to take care of Mother Sita and you disobeyed me, and you are here. How can you do this? But in both situations, Lakshman never became angry. Lakshman just kept quiet. Why? Because he valued relationships over everything else. So, my dear friends who are attending this seminar, can you see a contrast here? When it comes to Lord Ramchandra's seva, Lakshman kept quiet. But Lakshman became very angry on his father. When it came to Lord Ramchandra's seva, then he became very angry on Bharat Maharaj. When it came to Lord Ramchandra's seva, Lakshman became very angry even on Parshuramji. And we will feel, हा काय क्रोधी व्यक्ती आहे, किती क्रोध, प्रत्येकावर क्रोध, वडिलांवर क्रोध, भावावर क्रोध, सगळ्यांवर क्रोध. But you see in this situation that when he was doubted, he kept quiet, he did not become angry. And when his obedience was doubted, when his loyalty was doubted by Lord Ramchandra, then he kept quiet. So this is the contrast, and that's why in Ramayana, Lord Ramchandra is speaking in Sundarkand, just like a snake using patience gives up old skin and accepts a new skin, a wise person using patience should give up anger and accept a new outlook. We know when a snake changes his skin, it takes a lot of time to change the skin. And that is how we also should understand that we are in a difficult situation when we have anger, and that anger needs to be given up. Also in Mahabharata, Lord Krishna is speaking to Arjun, and he's speaking, the word charioteer, Sarathi, does not just simply refer to one who controls horses. Actually, the real meaning of a Sarathi is one who controls his anger. So, for Lord Krishna to become the Sarathi of Arjun does not mean that he just knows how to control the horses of Arjun, but he also knows how to control his own anger also. And we can learn from this a beautiful lesson. To be a good servant, you have to be a good master. And to be a good master, you have to be a good servant. What does this mean? When we want to become a good servant of the Lord, when we actually want to become dear to the Lord, then you have to be a good master of your anger or of your bad qualities. And if you want to become a good master of your bad qualities, then you have to have servant attitude towards the Supreme Lord. म्हणून लक्ष्मणाला आपल्या क्रोधावर विजय मिळवायला कधी शक्य झालं? जेव्हा त्यांनी सीता देवींचं दासत्व स्वीकारलं, जेव्हा त्यांनी रामचंद्रांचं दासत्व स्वीकारलं, आणि ते दासत्व स्वीकारल्यामुळे ते आपल्या क्रोधावर विजय प्राप्त करू शकले. आणि म्हणून भगवंतांची सेवा जर करायची असेल तर क्रोधावर विजय मिळवणं हे खूप महत्वाचं आहे. Another lesson that we can learn in our practical lives is that in certain conflict, when I say sorry, it does not mean that I accept that I made a mistake. It basically means I accept that this relationship with you is more important than being right. So sometimes in a marriage relationship, in a friendship relationship, in a disciple-guru relationship, in a friend relationship, there are always conflicts. And many times it is not our mistake. And sometimes the relationship is going for a toss. At that time, if we say sorry, it will actually save the relationship. अनेक वेळा माफी मागितल्याने नातं वाचतं. अहंकाराला त्रास होतो पण नातं वाचतं. So this is something for us to learn in our relationships. Lakshman kept quiet when Sita Devi accused him, and Lakshman kept quiet when Lord Ramchandra chastised him. But it is all based on his tremendous service attitude and love and affection for Sita and Ram. We'll go ahead. Bharat's situation in Ayodhya. When Bharat and Shatrughna, they returned from their maternal home, lot of things had happened in Ayodhya. And Shatrughna finds out that the real culprit is not Kaikeyi, the real culprit is Manthara. And he brings this Manthara to Bharat Maharaj, and he is ready to actually beat her. He is actually ready to hit her with a stick. This is Shatrughna. He is wanting to beat up Manthara. How could you do this? Because of your poison, now Lord Ramchandra is in the forest. And that time Bharat Maharaj, he stops Shatrughna from beating Manthara and he says, see, I don't want you to beat her because later when Lord Ramchandra hears of this incident, what will he feel? त्यांना वाईट वाटेल, त्यांना वाटेल माझे भाऊ एका महिलेला कसं मारू शकतात. It is against the rules of etiquette to beat up a woman. And how could my brothers beat a woman? So Bharat Maharaj has so much love for his Ram that actually he's very angry with Kaikeyi and he's very angry with Manthara. But he knows if he harms Kaikeyi and if he harms Manthara, Ram will not be happy. And out of service for Ram and out of that feeling of pleasing Ram, he maintains calmness and he controls his own anger and he says, don't beat Manthara. So we see how when you love somebody, when you have affection for somebody, then you can overcome all negativities based on your desire to please that person. म्हणून ज्या ज्या व्यक्तींना आपल्या आयुष्यामध्ये क्रोधावर विजय प्राप्त करायचा आहे, त्यांनी अशा कोणा व्यक्तीला विचार करू शकतात की त्या व्यक्तीला वाईट वाटेल, त्या व्यक्तीला त्रास देऊ शकतो आपण जर आपण क्रोध जोपासला तर. पण जर आपण आपल्या क्रोधावर विजय प्राप्त केला, क्रोधाला जर आपण काबू केलं, तर आपण अमुक अमुक व्यक्तीला प्रसन्न करू. Unless we have somebody to please in our life, then it is very difficult to control all our negative emotions. So great people have always controlled wrong emotions, not based on their own strength, but based on attraction or a desire to please somebody else in their lives. We'll go ahead. So in Maharashtra, everyone knows Swami Samartha Ramdas. And at one point of time, he was giving some katha. And when he was giving katha, he was describing the scene in Ashok Vatika in Lanka. And he was speaking how the flowers in Ashok Vatika were white in color. And as soon as he spoke that, one old man who was sitting for katha, he spoke, the flowers were not white, the flowers were red. And Swami Samartha, he said, thank you for informing me. But whatever I have read in Valmiki Ramayana, I'm just repeating it. Actually, the Valmiki Ramayana says that the flowers in Ashok Vatika were white. This person said, no, I can tell you they were red. Swami Samartha said, my Guru Maharaj also told me that the flowers were white. So my Guru cannot be wrong. The Valmiki Ramayana cannot be wrong. How can you say they are red? And this person came close to Swami Samartha and he revealed his own identity. Actually, it was Hanuman who was sitting for that Ram Katha. So it is mentioned how Hanumanji is so much attracted to Ram Katha. Whenever and wherever in this world there is Ram Katha going on, Hanumanji comes and sits for that Ram Katha. So Hanumanji said, you are only reading something. I have experienced it. I have seen it with my own eyes and the flowers were red. But Swami Samartha is not ready to accept it. He says, but how can the Valmiki Ramayana be wrong? Valmiki Rishi has spoken the truth. So Hanumanji also does not want to insult Valmiki Rishi. So Hanumanji says, okay, another person who was a witness to this whole situation is Sita Devi. So let us ask Sita Devi. Okay. So they request Sita Devi to come there, and Sita Devi comes and they ask, what were the color of the flowers in Ashok Vatika? He is saying they were white flowers. I know that they were red flowers. Can you tell us? And Sita Devi says, the flowers in Ashok Vatika, I stayed there for 10 months. They were blue in color. Now this is another third color. So now nobody is able to understand how can the same flowers be white, red and blue. So they all pray to Lord Ramchandra and they ask Lord Ramchandra. So Lord Ramchandra is asked the question, what was the actual color of all the flowers in Ashok Vatika? And Lord Ramchandra says, actually the flowers in Ashok Vatika were white in color, and that's why Valmiki Rishi has mentioned that they were white. But Hanumanji was always very angry when he reached Ashok Vatika because he had seen the kind of behavior that Ravan was doing, and he had seen what difficulties he had put Sita Devi in. And because of all that anger, Hanumanji, through that anger, was looking at the white flowers, and that's why those white flowers became red for Hanumanji. And then Sita Devi said, why for me the flowers were blue? So it was mentioned that Sita Devi was constantly crying when she was in Ashok Vatika. And because through the color of water in separation from Lord Ram, she was looking at the flowers, those white flowers became blue for Sita Devi. So in this way, Lord Ramchandra actually mentioned that Hanumanji had so much anger when he saw the difficulties that Sita Devi was put into because of Ravan. And then we know how Hanumanji in Lanka created a big scene. He fought and he destroyed so much property and he burned the entire Lanka out of anger for Ravan. It means there is a positive side of anger also. So anger can also be a very favorable emotion, but when it is for the right causes. But if our anger is not for the right causes, then it is not a very good emotion. So Hanumanji's anger is praised, Arjuna's anger is praised, and Lakshman's anger is praised. But all these three personalities, when they themselves, by their own identity, when they were troubled, they never exhibited that anger. Their anger was basically their seva for their Lord. So this was some more understanding about anger that we discussed today, and we discussed how unless we have somebody in our life whom we want to please, it will be very difficult for us to deal with the negativities in life. Yes, we did mention some tips last time, but then higher than all those tips is the supreme character of Lakshman, the supreme character of Bharat Maharaj, the supreme character of Arjun, and the supreme character of Hanumanji, that when it comes to pleasing Sita Devi, when it comes to pleasing Krishna, when it comes to pleasing Lord Ramchandra, they know how to control anger. But in service to the same Lord Ramchandra, in service to the same Lord Krishna, they can use anger. So in this way, we can understand how anger has also its own use, but not for our causes, always for a higher cause. And we also mentioned the example of Shivaji Maharaj. So with these few words, I'll stop here. And I want to express my gratitude to all of you for taking out time and joining our Sunday evening classes. Now I'll open up for any questions that you might have related to today's.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Rupnath.
खूप छान लेक्चर झालं. तर माझी आज सर्वांना विनंती आहे, जे आज पार्टिसिपंट्स आहेत, की आपण शास्त्रांमधली बरीच उदाहरणं ऐकली. राग आल्यामुळे काय नुकसान होतं किंवा आपण राग कसा कंट्रोल करू शकतो. पण आपल्या डे टू डे लाईफ मध्ये आपल्याला ज्या काही अडचणी येतात किंवा राग आल्यामुळे काही नुकसान होतं, तर त्याच्याशी रिलेटेड जर काही कुणाचे प्रश्न असतील तर त्यांनी विचारावेत, जेणेकरून आपल्याला योग्य असे उत्तर मिळतील. तर कुणाला प्रश्न असतील तर आता फोरम ओपन आहे, तर तुम्ही विचारू शकता प्रश्न.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Pooja, I have one question that, like, as you said that we should consider more the relationships when there is a concern of anger.
Yeah.
So in our day-to-day
Yes.
life, like we have our kids and we have our husband, family life. So how to apply that principle here? Like in
If we become angry,
sometimes in some
yeah.
situations we get angry, yeah, on small things also. So
Yes. Yes. So I can tell you very frankly that anger has its own use also. For example, if you really want to train our kids, we want to train our kids. So not everything can be explained in detail to kids because kids are basically kids. They are uncontrolled. And sometimes discussion can happen with people who are mature, people who are able to understand what we are speaking. But small kids, it's very difficult to explain to them why certain habits that they have are not good habits. For example, they are playing the whole day and they are not studying. And if you try to sit with them and give them a long lecture, how studies is very important, and if they study nicely, then they will get good marks. Probably it will never work. So sometimes, after explaining to them, after requesting them, and after doing all of that, sometimes it is also necessary that we need to raise our voice and tell them, if you don't study for tomorrow's exam, I am going to be very angry at you. Sometimes this anger is also necessary. So when to use this anger and when not to use this anger, I'll give you an example. A carpenter has many tools in his toolbox. मराठीमध्ये काही शब्द वापरतो ते लवकर आपल्याला कळणार. काही खिळे असतात. खिळे म्हणजे ते हतोडीने केवळ भिंतीमध्ये ठोकायचे असतात. ठाक 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 ठोकायचे. आणि त्याच्यावर कधी कधी आपण फोटो वगैरे काहीतरी लावू शकतो. आणि दुसरं असतो एक स्क्रू असतो. आणि त्या स्क्रूला जर आपल्याला वापरायचं असेल तर त्याच्यासाठी एक स्क्रू ड्रायव्हर असतो. आणि याचा स्क्रू घेऊन त्याला असं गोल फिरवता फिरवता स्क्रू ड्रायव्हरने आपण स्क्रू भिंतीमध्ये लावू शकतो. खिळ्याला ठोकू शकतो. खिळ्याला स्क्रू ड्रायव्हर कामी नाही येत. आणि स्क्रूला हतोडीने ठोकू शकत नाही. स्क्रूला स्क्रू ड्रायव्हरनी फिरवायला लागतं. मग कुठल्या परिस्थितीमध्ये कधी कधी ना एक खिळा कामी येतो आणि काही काही परिस्थितीमध्ये एक स्क्रू कामी येतो. म्हणून जेव्हा आपल्याला स्क्रू भिंतीत टाकायचं असेल तेव्हा आपल्याकडे स्क्रू ड्रायव्हर कामी येणार, आणि जेव्हा आपल्याला खिळा ठोकायचं असेल तेव्हा एक हतोडी कामी येणार. तर कार्पेंटर आहे, कार्पेंटरकडे स्क्रू ड्रायव्हर पण असतो आणि कार्पेंटरकडे हतोडी पण असते आणि कार्पेंटरकडे अजून बाकीच्या पण गोष्टी असतात. कुठल्या परिस्थितीमध्ये तो काय वापरणार तर तो बघतो. आता मला काय करायचंय, मला अमुक अमुक करायचंय, तर त्यासाठी स्क्रू ड्रायव्हर महत्वाचा आहे, त्यासाठी स्क्रू महत्वाचा आहे की त्यासाठी खिळा महत्वाचा आहे. जर त्याला वाटलं खिळा महत्वाचा आहे, खिळा घेणार आणि तो स्क्रू ड्रायव्हर नाही घेत, तो एक हतोडी घेतो आणि त्या हतोडीने त्या खिळ्याला मारतो. जर त्याला वाटलं की ही भिंत खराब होईल आणि या भिंतीला टिकवून ठेवणं गरजेचं आहे, मग तो खिळा नाही मारणार, मग तो एक स्क्रू घेतो आणि त्या स्क्रूला भिंतीत टाकण्यासाठी आपल्या टूल बॉक्स मधून स्क्रू ड्रायव्हर घेतो. याचा अर्थ an expert carpenter knows when to use screwdriver and when to use the hathodi. He is not attached to the screwdriver and neither he is attached to the hathodi hammer. So similarly, all of us, we should use anger like a tool. काही काही परिस्थितीमध्ये आपल्याला माहिती आहे की इथे खिळाच वापरता येईल, इथे स्क्रूड्रायव्हर वापरून काय फायदा नाहीये आणि खिळ्यासाठी आपल्याला हतोडी वापरायला लागेल. वी नीड टू यूज अ हॅमर. सो आफ्टर युजिंग दॅट हॅमर वी कीप दॅट हॅमर अगेन इन द टूल बॉक्स. तसंच कधी कधी कुठल्या परिस्थितीमध्ये आपण बघतो शांतपणे विचार करून, शांतपणे नम्रपणे विनंती करून काही काम होत नाहीये, मग काय करणार? मग त्यावेळेस कधी कधी जाणून बुजून नियोजनबद्ध पद्धतीने आपल्याला आपला आवाज वाढवायला लागणार आणि समोरच्या व्यक्तीला असं दर्शवायला लागणार की मला तुझ्यावर प्रचंड राग आलाय आणि हे सगळं काही चुकीचं हे चालणार नाहीये. सो आय एम कम्पेअरिंग दॅट टू युजिंग अ हॅमर. ढाम 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 हॅमर मारले, झालं काम झालं, परत ते हॅमर ठेवून द्यायची, आपलं काम चालू. सो एक्सपर्ट पीपल मेनी टाइम्स आर एबल टू यूज अँगर as a tool, and after using that anger as a tool they will not get affected by that anger. Many of us who are not able to use anger as a tool get affected by that anger. की आपण जेव्हा अमुक अमुक व्यक्तीवर क्रोधित होतो आणि जेव्हा त्याला खूप राग करतो, त्या व्यक्तीशी ते काही ती जी घटना आहे किंवा तो जो प्रसंग आहे तो संपल्यानंतर कमीत कमी 2-3 तास आपल्या चेतनेवर आपण प्रदर्शित केलेल्या रागाचा प्रभाव होता. अरे आपण प्रदर्शित केलेला रागाचा प्रभाव दुसऱ्या व्यक्तीवर व्हायला गरजेचा होता, स्वतःवर आपल्यावर प्रदर्शित व्हायला गरज नव्हती त्याची. सो दॅट्स वाय दिस इज समथिंग व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट फॉर अस. हाऊ डू वी नो that we are on the right track? One way to understand we are on the right track is after you become angry on somebody for a specific purpose, after that situation, that anger does not have an effect on you. After you deal with the situation, after you have dealt with that person, you are again back to normal. 2 क्षणांनी तुमच्यावर जो काही प्रभाव झाला होता त्या रागाचा तो संपूर्णपणे शांत झाला. So this is my understanding that sometimes anger is necessary because some people don't understand the language of decency. Some people don't understand the language of kindness. विनंतीची भाषा अनेक लोकांना कळत नाही, त्यावेळेस आवाज वाढवणं गरजेचं असतं. पण आवाज वाढवल्यानंतर त्या आवाज वाढवण्याचा प्रभाव आपल्यावर नाही व्हायला पाहिजे, तर समोरच्या व्यक्तीवर होऊन काम झालं पाहिजे आणि त्याच्यानंतर आपण आपलं काम करायला. So
thank you, Prajit. Thank you.
So this is my perspective. Anybody else has any question? Yeah, please unmute yourself and ask question. I have received a question on chat. It says, is it essential anger is used to protect dharma, not peace? Essentially, anger is used to protect dharma so that we can have peace. If dharma is not protected, if dharma is not established, there is no question of peace. जर पोलीस अमुक अमुक शहरामध्ये नाहीये आणि समजा पोलीस स्टेशनला टाळा लागलाय, तर त्या ठिकाणी योग्य वर्तणूक लोकांची नसणार. As I mentioned, some people understand only the language of violence. Some people understand it's a very low situation. So संस्कृतामध्ये शस्त्र आणि शास्त्र हे 2 शब्द आहेत, and both of them come from the same root, shas dhatu. So actually the recommendation is that you should give shastra to society. सगळ्यांना आपण योग्य ज्ञान दिलं पाहिजे आणि योग्य शिकवण दिली पाहिजे, जेणेकरून लोक स्वतःवर नियंत्रण करतील, आपल्या रागावर नियंत्रण करतील किंवा आपल्या हिंसात्मक स्वभावावर नियंत्रण करतील. पण ज्यांना शास्त्राची भाषा कळत नाही त्यांच्यासाठी शस्त्र आहे. So yes, anger is sometimes very important for those who don't understand scriptures, those who don't understand proper behavior from our scriptures, and they need to be taught in a hard way. They need to be taught in a rough way. So criminals many times, they only understand when they are punished. When they were forgiven, then criminals many times they cannot understand what is the right behavior. And that's why Shastra and Shastra both are important. Okay, another question on personal chat. If Sita would not have crossed the Lakshman Rekha, would Ramayana be a different one? See, Sita Devi is a very kind-hearted person. She is the mother of universe. She is Jagan Mata. So in order to generate that kind of kindness in Sita Devi, Ravan also came in a specific disguise. Ravan त्यांच्या साधारण वेशभूषेत नाही आले ना. Ravan came in the form of a sadhu. So he is coming there and he is saying, Bhavati bhiksham dehi. Bhiksha मिळणार का? साधूला भिक्षा मिळणार का? And Sita Devi, when she looked at the sadhu, she was thinking, this kind of a sadhu, he is a parivrajakacharya sadhu, he is a preacher sadhu, and usually he is not a tapasvi sadhu. So रावणाने जे कपडे घातले होते ते एका तपस्वी साधूचे नव्हते, ते एका प्रचार करणाऱ्या साधूचे होते. So Sita Devi could understand that. Sita Devi is very smart, and Sita Devi for a moment thought, this kind of sadhu will not be visible in jungle area. So why has this sadhu come? But still, because she is a kind-hearted person, and he is saying, Bhiksha, Bhiksha, Bhiksha मिळणार का काही? So भिक्षा देण्यासाठी जेव्हा सीता देवी बाहेर आल्या, तेव्हा she maintained that condition. She did not step outside the Lakshman Rekha, but the sadhu purposefully was standing behind. Ravan was standing behind, and he made Sita to step outside the Lakshman Rekha. So the reason why Sita Devi stepped out of the Lakshman Rekha is because of her kindness. But that kindness, she had to pay a big price for it. Yes, if she would not have crossed the Lakshman Rekha, it is like saying कि एक आई दया भावना सोडू शकते का? आपल्या घरी आपल्या सर्वांची आई आहे आणि ती आई नेहमी स्वतःच्या ताटामध्ये कमी घेते आणि नेहमी ती इतरांना त्यांच्या ताटामध्ये जास्ती वाढते. सो बाय दॅट वी कॅन अंडरस्टँड that this is the mood of a mother. So one mother of 2 kids at home compromises on her food, but she gives lot of food to her kids. Similarly for Sita Devi, everyone other than Lord Ramchandra is her kid, and she thought this sadhu is also like my child. आणि या साधवाला भिक्षा देणं हे खूप महत्वाचं आहे, and that's why she was kidnapped. Okay, third question on chat: how to handle anger of kids? Kids' anger cannot be handled by you becoming angry on them. Kids' anger always has to be handled in a very delicate way. At least at the particular moment when kids are very angry, you have to, as an elderly person, as a father person, or as a mother person, you have to basically keep quiet and accept and absorb all that anger. जसा एक स्पंज पाण्यामध्ये स्वतःला कसं पाण्याला सगळं शोषून घेतो, तसं एका आईला किंवा एका वडिलांना कमीत कमी त्या क्षणी तरी मुलांचा सर्व क्रोध स्वीकारून सोसून घ्यायला लागणार आणि नंतर कधीतरी योग्य वेळी योग्य शिकवण त्यांना देऊ शकतो की कसे मुलं चुकले. पण त्या क्षणी जेव्हा आधीच तो रागावलेला आहे किंवा आपली मुलगी रागावलेली आहे आणि जेव्हा त्या क्षणी आपण त्यांच्यावर रागावतो, इट सेट्स अ व्हेरी बॅड सिच्युएशन, इट क्रिएट्स अ व्हेरी बॅड मूड इन द फॅमिली. And that can actually cause a lack of communication between the child and the parents. कारण त्या मुलाला माहिती आहे, मला जेव्हा मनाला खूप वाईट वाटलं होतं, जेव्हा मी माझ्या भावना प्रदर्शित केल्या, मला काय मिळालं? मला जवळीकपणा नाही मिळाला, मला आपुलकी नाही मिळाली, मला त्यांच्याकडून स्वीकार नाही झालं, किंवा मला बसून विचारलं नाही, ठीक आहे बाळ, काय झालं तुला, का तू एवढा रागवलाय? व्हॉट डिड आय गेट इन रिटर्न? आय गॉट अँगर, आय गॉट अ ब्लास्ट. मी ओरडतोय, असं का झालं, मला हे पुस्तक का नाही मिळालं, मला ही क्रिकेटची बॅट का नाही मिळाली, अमुक तमुक काहीतरी आपण ओरडतोय, आणि मला काय मिळालं? माझ्यापेक्षा आवाज वाढवून माझ्या आई वडिलांनी मलाच तिथे डांबून ठेवलं. सो दिस पर्सन बेसिकली ही इज वेटिंग एव्हरी मोमेंट टू ग्रो अप. तो वाट बघतोय, आज माझं वय 8 आहे, आज माझं वय 16 आहे, तो 20-21 बनायची वाट बघतोय. आणि जेव्हा 20-21 झाल्यावर त्याच्या आवाजामध्ये पण एक शक्ती येईल, तेव्हा बरोबर योग्य वेळी आवाज वाढवून तो आई वडिलांना उलट उत्तर द्यायला शिकणार. आज तो उलट उत्तर का नाही देत आहे? त्यांनी राग केला, तुम्ही राग केला तर शांत बसला, कारण तो तुमच्यावर अवलंबून आहे, तुम्ही त्याला खायला देताय. ज्या दिवशी तो मोठा होईल त्या दिवशी त्याची खरी शक्ती त्याच्या आवाजामध्ये दिसेल. सो दॅट्स वाय when your child is angry on you as a parent, never ever retaliate, never ever shout back. It creates lot of negative emotions in the heart of a child. At that time say okay आपण याच्यावर चर्चा करूया, ओके आपण नंतर याच्यावर विचार करूया, just keep quiet. And later at one point of time you can deal properly. If it is right, you do accordingly. If it is wrong, you tell him this demand from you is wrong and I can never fulfill it. I can never give you wrong habits. This is how we should deal with anger of kids. Okay, another question. If dharma itself promotes violence, then how we can get salvation bringing with anger? Dharma does not promote violence, but dharma is protected by violence. I gave you an example. बारामती मध्ये तुम्ही सर्व राहताय आणि बारामती मध्ये पोलीस स्टेशन नसेल, पोलिसांची गाडी जर रात्री फिरत नसेल तर चोऱ्या वाढतात. So this is something that the government does not want police force. Why? Because it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of money to maintain a police force. जेलमध्ये कैद्यांना टाकून त्यांना खाऊ द्यायला लागतं, त्यांना जेवण द्यायला लागतं, त्यांना कपडा लत्ता द्यायला लागतो. हा सगळा गव्हर्नमेंटवर खूप मोठा भार आहे. नो गव्हर्नमेंट वॉन्ट्स देअर जेल्स टू बी पॉप्युलेटेड. जसं हिंदी सिनेमामध्ये अनेक वेळा म्हणतात सरकारी जमाई. सरकारी जमाई म्हणजे त्याचं सगळं खर्च गव्हर्नमेंटला करायला लागतो. बट गव्हर्नमेंट अंडरस्टँड्स इफ वी डोंट कीप ए जेल अँड इफ वी डोंट कीप पोलीस फोर्स, देर विल ऑलवेज बी पीपल हु विल मिसयूज देअर पॉवर अँड दे विल ट्रबल पीपल. म्हणून साधारण समाजामध्ये शांती ठेवण्यासाठी काही लोकांवर आपल्याला हिंसा करायला लागते. जेव्हा काही वाईट लोकांवर साधारण समाजामध्ये शांती राहते आणि अहिंसा राहते, पण
Some of
जेव्हा
the
आपण त्या
short-term
काही
and long-term health
मोजक्या
problems.
वाईट लोकांवर जेव्हा आपण शांती दाखवतो किंवा अहिंसा दाखवतो, तेव्हा let me just finish my answer first. When we become kind on a few criminals, then we face problems, and does not promote violence, but dharma is protected and established by violence.